You're listening to the Just Wins podcast, where we discuss winners, black bookers, and much more. Enjoy the show.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
But a champion becomes a legend! Makoni Debra's won it! The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Just Wins podcast. We're up to podcast number 15. 15 already for Saturday the 15th. Some sort of coincidence there. My name's Just Wins as usual, and we've got Adam on the line. Adam, how's your week been, mate?
Oh, good, thanks, mate. I'm quite surprised we're up to 15. It's gone quick, hasn't it?
Oh, amazingly quick. It seemed like yesterday that we were starting off and having all those technical difficulties, but we seem to be going okay, I guess. It's good to hear from you again. Lee, how's your week been?
Yeah, good, boys. How you guys going? What's the crack?
Not much crack, mate. There's a big weekend of footy and there's a big weekend of racing. So looking forward to getting into it. Lee, how'd you go last week, mate?
Just frustratingly, just missed profit. We got two winners and a second. Queen Brown was really impressive. And then Nero Dio got the job done in Perth as well. Great again, was just beaten by a better horse on the day, but it was really brave. Chicago Cub was poor, but I think we can probably put a line through it as it was in the inside. And the longer the day went on, I think I even messaged you boys that the inside was off and, yeah, it just didn't look comfortable in the going. So I'm willing to give it another chance, but we'll see what happens with him. Didn't get got Skyman over the line, but unfortunately I was supposed to lay him, but he ended up winning impressively, and I think we can obviously definitely follow him. And then Yankee Lima, the Roughie bet, he was solid enough. I think finished 5th or 6th or something like that, and was there or thereabouts. I'd be looking for him at the Provincials or something like that, something midweek in a maiden. I think he can definitely win something along those lines. Probably just not good enough yet for Saturday class.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. Great again. Couldn't get that winner up because he would have been well in front. And both your Perth tips were very well backed and won accordingly. And Skyman, I think, you laid it at 290 and it drifted out to about $4, but was still too good. So, as he said, one to follow for sure. Don't know what length he'll get to this spring. Maybe they might put him away soon and wait till the autumn. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's probably the plan. I mean, we'll see what happens, but Waller's pretty onto it usually with his placement or what he's looking at. So we'll have to trust him.
Yeah, he's in it for the long term. Adam, you had a win out there.
Yes, got up, mate. A couple of units profit, which is always good. It was a bit of a tough day, but we got there in the end. A couple of nice winners, headlined by Eduardo in the banter race in the Missile Stakes. Well-rated ride there by Nasharawilla. Got the job done, so he's going great guns for Joey Pride. The field did fall away a lot there, though. There wasn't much left for him to beat, but he got it done. That's all that matters. And the other winner was Choir in Moe. As I said, I was travelling a long way to find that one, but I was really confident him up and Trip that he'd get the job done. And he looked to be struggling around the turn, but once he balanced up, he put them away and won with something in hand. So he's won. It's a weak race, but he's one to follow as he gets up and Trip, see what he gets to. And just on the other two, I tipped Royal Banquet, disgraceful ride, Tom Sherry. I'll leave it at that. And then Top Striker, another Tom Sherry.
You're not going well with him, are you?
No, I was going to make my to follow this week because last week I said to follow Tom Sherry. I was going to make my to follow this week for everyone to get the biggest, blackest permanent marker they have and put a line through his name. But I've forgiven him. I'm not going to be tipping him this week. But
he only rode two midweek.
That was appalling. Yeah, he got two winners on Wednesday. But that was a really poor ride, 3 wide from barrier 4 and didn't do us any favours. And then he was on top striker in the Roughie Roulette. He was 60-1, that horse, and he had an awkward gate. He did get caught 3 wide. No fault of Sherry, that one, but he ran well. Ran 5th, only missed the place by a length or so. So, it wasn't a bad run.
No, and you got that lay to go under as well, Dancing Gidget.
Yes, that's right. Yep. That horse is backing up again this week in the first race. But yeah, he got beaten quite a long way. So I was happy with that one.
Yeah, there's a good horse in that race. I'll be interested to know if you pick up on that later. But yeah, you did quite well, and obviously headlining with Eduardo. I think there was about 7 scratchings on the Saturday morning when the rain came down, and one of those, as a little segue, was my Roughie Cascadian. So you probably won because that got scratched.
Of course, mate. Of course.
Stitch up. No, I had, as I said, Cascadian got scratched, and then Rome Norris got the job done again. Very, very good horse that. And you got Leroy the Conqueror in behind, who will definitely be winning soon. Then Ruse, it was an interesting ride, put it that way. I'm not
He was
sure.
trying his best to emulate Sherry, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of it. I thought he was still really good, Bruce, and obviously as a $2.20 favourite, I think they backed it into $1.90, which stung a bit more for the punters out there. But yeah, settled it nice, then searched wide on the turn, and I don't know. I couldn't work it out. But anyways, we move on, and then in the last race, Maddie Rocks was scratched at the barrier, so she was being a naughty girl, and don't know what happens with her. She might be off to the breeding barn, but we'll just see. And my lay of the day, La Palmiere, was rolled with about 20 metres to go, so at $2.30. So quite happy about that, and it did drift out a bit. So the punters were on the ball there, and yeah, so not a bad weekend for us all. We can definitely continue on this week. I just wanted to ask Adam, what about Anders?
Yeah, mate. I've got him down as one of the ones to follow. Obviously, we didn't follow up on him after backing him in his previous run before he went out for a break. But yeah, he's taken massive improvement from that break. He's gone up another level, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he measures up when he gets the better races. He was on a heavy track, which is something we need to keep in mind. But yeah, it was very impressive. It was a good win.
Yeah, it was a great win, wasn't it? And there was a couple of pretty poor runs in behind it. And the likes of Kumasi and stuff like that were beaten a long way out. But as you said, you never know when they get on top of the ground. Did you have anything else to follow, mate?
I was just going to make mention of a couple. Firstly, as we just said, Anders. I also wanted to make mention of New King. I said to watch that horse last week. I said I didn't think it'd win, but it got an absolute peach by J-Mac and got the job done. And it's going to be better as it gets out over further. So that might be one to keep an eye on. And also Montefilia from the first race, who won the race that Dancing Gidget was in. She's a 3-year-old filly looking for further. They're putting her out for a little break, and then David Payne's going to be aiming her towards the Oaks. So whether she gets there, I'm not sure, but she's certainly heading in the right direction. And the other horse I wanted to follow wasn't a winner. It was actually in Eduardo's race in the Missile. Imaging, first up, he got cut out. He was going to give it a shake. He was going to go close to beating Eduardo, I think. But
he's a wet tracker, mate.
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know. He's a good horse. He's only had a handful of starts in Australia, and second up last prep, he won the Ajax over 1,500, which was a good win.
Yeah.
And then he went to Doncaster, where he drew really, really poorly out in the car park because he was initially the favourite, but ended up drifting with that poor draw. And then they put him in the Queen Elizabeth, which was a bit of a tough race, and he didn't go too well. But yeah, I think he's come back well this prep, and I think he's a horse that can measure up in some races.
Yeah, for sure. I've got him level pegging with Cascadian. Imaging, he's a good Group 2 horse, and probably good Group 1 horse in the heavy, but we'll see how he goes in the spring. Montefilia handled the heavy this week. Got scratched the week before on it.
Yeah. As we said last week, we think that might have been more to do with the track bias that was dished up. So
I think that's a bit of a stitch up for punters from the week before. But anyways, that's the way it plays. And Anders, as you said, for me, go Adam.
So I was just going to say, just on Montefilia, I don't know if you boys saw it on Sky Thoroughbred Central. They were interviewing David Payne before its first up run. And something I thought was really interesting before that, I think it resumed over 1,100, 1,200 or something like that, as you'd be able to tell us. But he was talking about it, Oaks and all this sort of thing before its third start when it was first up over a sprint trip. So they've obviously got a massive opinion of it. So I think, I'll be watching it as it gets over further too. I already marked it down from that. But yeah, I think it could be a really good horse.
Yeah, Lee, that first up run was over 1,400, but it got way back on. It was on the Kenzo, one of those awful leader bias Kenzo tracks, and yeah, it flew home for third. It was only beaten a length, if that. So it was a massive run. Put the writing on the wall then.
Yeah, it's interesting. She's out of Kermadec, so there's Myla and the dam's a British dam with a bit of German heritage. So I don't know. She might get 2,400. She might be a bit of quality, but be interested to see how far she gets. And I know David Payne likes those Derby types and Oaks types. So we'll see how she goes in the spring or possibly in the autumn. For me, I just think we and the punters have been buttering up with a couple of jockeys lately. Ever since the new season's turned around, Ollie in Melbourne has just been booting home winner after winner. His strike rate is pretty good at the moment, and also same as Ryan Maloney in Brisbane has got Nordurf's rides, and only rides probably 4 or 5 on a Saturday, and then rarely touches them during the week. So the punters are really stepping in when he has one going around, and definitely one to follow. But that will only last so long, and just like Pikey's mounts, half of them start unders, so you never know what's going to happen there. Lee, did you have anything, mate?
Yeah, a couple. Obviously, Queen Brown that we backed in Perth was a very good winner, and it's definitely one to follow. Just a couple from Melbourne. I did give one out, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't give it out as a bet last week. But Tabby Dance were mentioned on the potty a couple of weeks ago as being one to watch. It absolutely brained them last week, so it's clearly going places. And another one, I have sort of spoken about it briefly before on the podcast a while back, but that's Gamekeeper. It was really good first up the straight for the first time.
Yeah, agreed, mate.
Class. Yeah, so it's clearly a horse that's going to get some good races, especially in the spring. And it's came from all the 3-year-old races in Adelaide, winning a 3-year-old mile race here at Flemington, and then obviously come back, and yeah, it was really good. So I think it's definitely one to watch, especially as they get towards a mile.
The Jackaloy team are aiming him towards the. Obviously, this is a far-fetched idea, and they're hoping they get there, but they're aiming him towards 2,000 metres. They're hoping he gets to a Cox Plate, that horse. So
gotcha.
Quite interesting.
Has he got a bit of Haydock about him?
Yeah, a little bit. Same colours.
I think he'll get out a bit further than Haydock. Haydock won a? Did he win or he ran a good race in the Guineas or something like that?
Yeah, he won an Australian Guineas, and then when he was older, he was more over the 1,200.
Yeah,
right.
So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens. Well, Gamekeeper's out of Fastnet and a Volkskrag Dam, and so we'll see what happens. He'll probably definitely get a trip.
Yep.
Good horse.
One to watch, anyways, boys. And yeah, Adam, if you want to just chuck a saver on those ones you give out that are $14 and come into 7 and win, maybe think about that next time.
I will, mate. Would have made my profit much better, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, as long as you're in profit, I guess. Anyways, boys, that's the wrap from last week. We get into Group 1 banter. And this week we've got the Group 2 PB Lawrence Stakes at Caulfield in Race 8. Lee, since that's your jurisdiction, I'll start off with you. What do you think about that race?
Yeah, I think it looks a pretty good race on paper, in my opinion. And looking back at the history, there's been some pretty good horses that have run in it. Things like Shootout, Who Be Got You, Hartnell, and then obviously Mystic Journey won it last year. So I think it does read interesting as well, just on paper. Obviously, there's only 3 horses that have had a run this prep so far, and one of those is second up in Streets of Avalon. The other 2, they're just racing well, so they're just, shot at the stumps in Sir Coney and Morrissey. So we'll see what happens. there. Caulfield at the moment's a soft 6 with small showers expected, something like sort of 5 to 10 mil over the next 2 days. So we'll probably stay around the 6 or 7 range. The rail is out 9 metres, so hopefully it plays pretty fair. Just going back through data, the track's been fairly fair. In the sprint races, you probably want to be up closer to the speed, especially on turning. But most of the other races have played pretty fair. So hopefully we get a good day, especially with the sting out. Hopefully that means it's all good for every runner everywhere. So, but on to my thoughts on the race so far. I'll be Tommy 2-bets in this. I'll have a unit on the 2 class runners in the field in Regal Power and Mystic Journey. I know Regal Power probably wants further, and his 1400 form isn't his best, but I feel like he has really transformed into a class horse over the past 12 months. And his last 2 runs first up have been 2nd and 4th in Group 2 and Group 3 respectively. His last 4 runs of 1400 have all been placings and all in black type races, and he was sharp enough to win the All-Star Mile. He's won at Caulfield, handles the wet, and Piker's had a bit of a time off to come over and ride him. Piker's also 7 from 14 on him with 4 seconds, so pretty ominous record there. Like I said, he's got all the class in the world and equal top rater in this race. The other one is Mystic Journey. I know Cox Plate prep was underwhelming, but I feel like she was back to her best in a one-off start in the autumn in the unsuitable William Reid over 1200 at Moonee Valley. She was a real eye-catcher running on late, and the fact they stuck with the plan and put her away for the spring suggests she has been doing everything right. This isn't her grand final, but she is an absolute star and is unbeaten at the 1400. She's won 3 from 5 first up, 2 from 3 at the track, and unbeaten on a soft track. So, as I said, I'm just going to be betting that the class will prevail in this one.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. And what are you having on them?
Just 1 unit on each of those.
1 unit on both. Thanks, mate. Adam, what do you think about this race?
Oh, mate, I'm the biggest Mystic Journey fan there is, so I'll be sticking with her. She's an absolute star. As Lee said, she won this race last year before having a bit of a rough prep where they tried to get her to a Cox Plate. She didn't go poorly. She just probably didn't run that 2,000 metres out as well as she could. And in my opinion, she is clearly the best miler we have in this country. And from all reports in the lead up to this run, she's going really well. She's had a couple of trials, a couple of really good pieces of work. And as Lee said, that short autumn was after that little bit of a setback, I think breeds really well. And that run she did deliver in the autumn behind Love and Gabby was an absolute cracker. So I'm going to back her to win. I do have concerns about the gate and Caulfield. As Lee said, the rail's out 9 metres and Caulfield can play to the leaders, as we know. So I'm not expecting them to be too positive on her. I think they'll try and go back worse in midfield and hopefully jag some cover. But I'm just hopeful her class will prevail, and I'm going to have 1 unit to win at the 440.
Yep, 1 unit, and also Billy Egan jumps on this prep. So
yeah,
be interesting to see how she goes.
Yeah, they dropped off Darmanin. They said he hasn't had enough match practice, so I actually like that. I'm a big fan of Billy Egan. He's a great rider and is an up and comer too in these bigger races. So good to see him get his chance.
Yep, that's it. He's been going well with the Paynyard. Also, I'm really not confident in this one at all. There's form lines coming everywhere, and as Lee said, there's a lot of these good horses first up. And with the rail out, most likely it's a soft, heavy track. I just want to have a small each way play on Morrissey. It's out the gate. You know, I think it opened at $10 and it's out to about $18 now. So I mean, something ridiculous. I just think, you know, it's stepping up in class for sure, but it's got the fitness edge. It's got Craig Williams, and it should be leading, or at least in the lead with Streets of Avalon. It can handle Caulfield well, handles the soft track. And I just think, if it can get out in front and get its own way a bit, hopefully it can have some of these horses resuming off the bit and, sneak one in there. But he's been going well this prep, and I just don't know why there's such a big drift on it in the last day and a bit, but I'm sure we'll find out on Saturday. So
you're in saying that Just Wins, it's got a bit of manual about it. What did it win? The CF4 or something like that?
40 to 1 or something.
Correct.
Yeah, and it just led the whole way, and most of those horses that were resuming just we were just off the bit and just couldn't get him in the end. But
Yeah.
read similar.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a 0.25 unit each way. Very, very soft bet just to keep me in the game. And you never know. She might get out to something ridiculous. It might get out to some ridiculous odds, but you just never know what will happen. And obviously echo what the boys said with Mystic Journey. Just a touch worried about that gate. But if those two go too fast and she's ready to go first up, then she should be going very close for sure. All right, boys, thanks very much. That's Adam, Mystic Journey at 440 for the 1 unit. Lee is having the 1 unit on her also, and also on Regal Power. And I'm just having a little throw at the stumps at Morrissey at $18. Before we get into the lay of the day and Roughie Roulette, I'll remember it this time, Lee. Let's go through our tips for each track. Adam, you're at Randwick again. You're getting stitched up here, mate. You're on the heavy track with the rail out. With the rail out too.
I'm not happy this weekend, I'll tell you right now. We saw Randwick 2 weeks ago. It was appalling. The rail was out 9 metres there that week, and this week we've got it out 11. So, yeah, I'm not confident, but we're going to have a crack. The track was a heavy 9 Thursday morning. They're expecting scattered showers Friday, cloudy Saturday. So, yeah, it's going to be heavy. Probably be a 9, 8 at the very best. Hopefully it doesn't get to a 10. I'm just going to have one bet on this card, okay? And it comes up in the first race. And the horse is number 3, All Saints Eve, for John O'Shea and J-Mac.
Good man. I was hoping you were going to say this.
You know what? At first,
this is what I alluded to earlier.
Oh, good. I was trying to make a case for Vitesse because she's just going to lead this on her ear. But the more I looked into it, this now 4-year-old mare by Sacred Falls, All Saints Eve, just has a huge class edge on these. Her last run before a spell, she ran in the Kembla Grange Classic, got way back because she had to due to the way the race was run. But yeah, flew home for third. She was only beaten a long neck or so at the most. And the horse she was running home was Subpoenaed, and she was going better than Subpoenaed. And in my opinion, Subpoenaed's a Group 1 horse, a loose cannon, but it's a Group 1 quality horse. And this horse was running on better than it. She's had 2 trials, should be fit and ready. She's never seen a wet track, but as we know, Sacred Falls is one of the all-time runners. So she'll get through the wet track. And I think from the inside gate, J-Mac will be positive. She's not going to lead or anything, but I can only see her being a couple of pairs back, and hopefully you can get some clear running, and she just puts them away, being too good for them. So I'm going to have 2 units at the $2.50.
Yeah, I'm really keen on this horse. And I had her in the black book off that run, and it's probably been a bit over the top, but I've got that was a Group 1 run in that Kembla Grange Classic. First up here, Sacred Falls, 4-year-old mare. Sacred Falls, she knocked us out of the Doncaster twice.
Back-to-back Doncaster, Sacred Falls on the heavy track.
And out of an Incloster Delago mare. So, and Rosemont Stud have got an interest, so they'll definitely want something out of this mare. And yeah, if she shows what she did last prep, she'll be winning this. So great bet there, Adam. That's it for you, mate.
Yeah, that's it. As I said, I'm not happy with this track, so I'm just kept it simple with that one.
You'll be
just
all
a question.
done.
Just a question for Adzi. I noticed you obviously spoke about North Pacific on recent potties, mate.
Yeah.
No tip there for it on Saturday?
No tip. I just thought it was a bit short. It won quite well, don't get me wrong. And I think it is the horse I'd put on top in this race, but I just thought Smart Image is a promising horse. I also thought at the value in that Sylvestra for Waller could be one that jumps out of the ground. I just wasn't keen on taking $2.25 to keep it short, mate. I just couldn't bring myself to do that with that horse.
Fair enough. And then how much are we going to have on Masked Crusader? A lot or what?
Mate, you're going to be surprised later. I'm taking him on.
Gee whiz. All right. We'll keep that for later, boys. Lee, since you're up and about and loving having a chat at the moment, what have you got for Caulfield and Adam? Cue the questions.
All right. As I spoke about earlier, soft 6 with a little bit of rain, so probably in the 6 or 7 range. But we'll get into the tips. So I've just got the 2 for today. We're going to lead off with race 3, number 2, Our Campana at $8 and $2.35. We're going to have a unit each way on her. she's just the type of horse you'd really want to own. She's as genuine as they come, having won 6 of 14 and never finishing further back than 5th. Her first up run was brave, holding off challengers either side of her to score. And then she wasn't great last up, but I think she has excuses. She seemed to over-race, and young Campbell just didn't look like he had enough strength or experience to get her settled on that occasion. Nolan jumps back on, which I think is a big plus, and he's 1-from-1 on her. And we all know how good he rides from Moody. She sets up to get the perfect run, one in behind the speed from the gun draw, and I feel the sting out of the ground will be a big plus for her. She's 3-from-5 with 2 placings on wet ground, and she also likes the Caulfield 1100, having won 2-from-4, and she's unbeaten third up. I just think we're getting really good value for a horse that is as genuine as her in an 8-horse field, so let's get on.
Let's get on our Campana in race 3 for 8 and 240. Yep, next one.
Race 7, number 8, Bumper Blast at 550. We're just going to have a 1-unit win bet on him. We've had some good horses win this recently with some going on to Group 1 success. I think this guy can be a genuine group horse in future. He's only had the 7 starts and won 4 of them, including a benchmark 90 win over the Flemington Carnival at just his 3rd start, which I think is massive. He then resumed 4 weeks ago with a big win up the straight over the unsuitable 1,000-metre trip. Well, what we thought was unsuitable anyway. Willow sticks with him from that, and he is 3-from-4 on board. There looks to be some good speed engaged here as well with Jungle Edge, Be Good to Your Mother, Shahitsi and Angel Chivalry, who have all done their best racing up on speed. From barrier 8, he has drawn perfectly, go back and sit outside horses and finish off over the top. The 4-week break between runs and out in trip are both positives, and you'll get the wet being out of Ocean Park and a Kiwi bred more than ready mare. He's on the up and will win plenty of good races after this.
Yeah, that's Bumper Blast. Yeah, he's a good grey, that gelding, and that's a ripper race. That, you know, you got Jungle Edge, Viridine, Be Good to Your Mother, Age of Chivalry, Miami Bowden, She Shall Fly, which zoomed home last week in a Group 1 or 2, I think.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
mate, for a small field, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's 2 at Caulfield. Have you got a 3rd or?
Nah, that's it.
That's it, mate. All right, so that's race 3 at Caulfield, our Campana at $8 and $2.40, and at race 7, Bumper Blast, straight out at $5.50. Thanks very much, Lee. We'll get back to you a bit later with your around the grounds.
Yep.
I'm at Eagle Farm on Saturday. Good 4, as you'd expect. Been a brilliant surface up here lately and great weather. However, there's up to 10 millimetres due on Saturday, including some heavy gusts and a thunderstorm. So I don't think it'll affect the track, just because the track is a great drying track. I'm just a little bit worried with probably the gust and the thunderstorm, whether that's going to stir some of these horses up, and also we're probably needing to be getting some cover in the run. Rail is out 2.5 metres, so pretty inconsequential there. I'm starting in race 2, a horse called Tycoon Evie at $7.50 and $1.85. I'm just going to have half unit the win and 1.5 units the place. It's up against the heavyweights of Kisakano and Mashani Miss. I'm just taking the punt that this filly can step up again from a strong debut behind Blur Zebra at the Sunshine Coast. Jumped well that day and was on speed, but was caught 3 wide. In the straight, was the only one to pick up when the leader was often gone. Responded to the whip after a tough run, although was still quite green as you'd expect on debut. Gets the blinkers on here first time, drops 4 kilos, and it should really enjoy the step up to the 1200. Interestingly, it's a half to winning Rupert, the mare being Winora, so has some quality there in the breeding side of things. I'm just going that heavier the place bet, just because you've got the likes of Kisakano and Mashani Miss, who are obviously good. However, you never know if Kisakano is going to play up again, and Mashani Miss, you don't know if it'll run the 1200 on top of the ground. So I think she's got some quality, this filly, and hopefully she can get over the top of them late. That's race 2. I'm off to race 4 with the Edmonds train. She's Boss at $4.60 and $1.80. I'm going to do the same thing, half a unit the win, 1.5 units the place. racing in top form and deserves this step up to Saturday grade. Great run at Doomben. Sat 3 wide the trip, then before the turn had to go wider again with one of the leaders pulling up abruptly, pulled out of the race and really made a bit of a scramble of it. Put them away early in the straight and won by 2.3 lengths, which is handy at Doomben. From barrier 5 on Saturday, Frad should be able to pick a spot midfield, probably one off the fence, and give her every chance. 1400 is her best distance also. Couple of handy ones in Woman of Gold and All Shiraz in this, so hence the heavier the place bet. That's it for me at Eagle Farm. As I said, I'm just not sure with the weather and a bit of a tricky card this weekend. So I'm just going to keep it to them and we'll get on to some Roughie bets later. But first...
Couple of questions, mate.
Oh,
couple
you're
of questions
it this week,
yeah,
aren't you?
He's lippy, isn't he?
Very lippy. We'll have to keep him. I know why he's lippy, because I tore him down on those bets last week. He wanted $6, I gave him $5.50. He wanted $8. He's getting back at me now.
It wouldn't have mattered because I don't think any of them did anything apart from the ones you didn't correct me. So it's all good, mate.
Yeah. All right.
No, I just have a couple of horses in the black book that I wanted to ask you about.
Yep.
Number one being in race 3, Super Contender. It's probably a bit short, but what's your thoughts on it on the weekend, mate?
Yeah, I think you're right with the bit short, but he's I think he's by Kodiak, or he's an overseas bred 4 or 5-year-old gelding. Yeah, has put him away. The only problem I have with it, I know he's won well, but he beat the Driller 2 starts back by 0.3 of a length, and the Driller then didn't impress me, and then Keen on Gold in behind it ran 6th, 7th at a midweek during the week, and then last week won by 4 lengths, but I think the winner, maybe not, maybe I'm talking out of my bum a bit, but I think she might just be a bit short. However, the race is a bit, there's not a lot of quality in it. I actually didn't mind Jarhead in it at $23, but I'd probably just prefer to watch, to be honest. But yeah, Jarhead, few too many, or a couple of at 20 to 1. Like that Titanium's good, but see, it's $5.50 and it's had 2 starts. So
yeah,
it's a very, very tricky race, and she could come out. It could come out and win easy, but we'll see, I guess. Next.
Fair enough. And then the other one was in race 6, mate. Clairview Star. I was on her last start, or him last start, sorry, and he absolutely flashed home, looked absolutely gone at the 1,000 metres, and then, really picked up late. So any thoughts on him out the 1,200 metres?
Yeah, by Missy Longstockings and with the same colours, so obviously a homebred. I think, what's Return with Honour going to do? It's a real... like with Maloney on, there's obviously some sort of guy, but why are they sending it up here just to get a kill? Or I'm not too sure. And then you got the likes of Super Effort, the Chris Waller trained down the bottom. But yeah, if it brings that form from the week before, there's been a bit of specking there, so I don't really have an opinion on it, but I'm sure if you're going to have a crack each way and might give you a shake.
Fair enough. No worries.
Fair enough. All right, mate. Thank you. Okay, that's it from me at Eagle Farm. As I said, not super confident, but we'll see how we go. Around the grounds, Lee, while you're there, what have you got for, I'll just say Belmont? Or Ascot this week?
It's Belmont, but we're going to have one away from Belmont as well. So we've got 2 around the grounds.
Gee whiz.
The first one's going to be my best bet of the day, and that's in Morphettville, race 7, number 2, Behemoth at $2.80.
Oh, you good one.
Stolen your Azzy.
We're doubling up.
Let's double get on. Let's go. I'm going to have 1.5 units a win on him. I'm just going in class in this on resumption. He's really developed over the last 12 months, running well in the Golden Eagle, Mackay Stakes and the Goodwood. He comes into this on the back of a really good trial and gets a barrier blanket off for the first time, which I think looks a really good sign. And hopefully that just means he's really maturing as a horse. He gets a good draw, goes well fresh, handles the wet, and punters are generally onto it with him, as he is 2 from the 3 as favourite with a second. So, like I said, he's going to be my best of the day.
All right, mate. That's Behemoth, best of the day for 1.5 unit win at Morpheville in race 7. Over to Perth now.
Yep. I'm going to go in the Get Out Stakes, race 9. I'm going to go to in number 10, Devoted Star, for 650 and 250. I'm going to have 1 unit each way on her. I think it just pays to forgive her last run when she was fractious in the barriers and pulled up lame on that occasion. She has had 5 weeks off into this, and the Peters and Williams camp don't usually race them when they aren't in good nick. She gets a barrier blanket on in this, so hopefully that sort of barrier manners out straight away. She's an awkward draw, but that will be offset by the fact she'll get right back. I'm hoping for a bit of luck here, but I think we'll get it in a race that looks like there's plenty of speed on paper. She has a big finishing sprint, so I'm predicting she'll be given an easy time early and come right over the top of them late. 1,300 metres suits. She handles any ground, and don't worry about no pikey, as Chris Parnham is the next best stable rider and on percentage, and has had a win on this mare before.
Better than Noski, mate.
Yes.
All right, mate. That is the Get Out Stakes with Devoted Star at 650 and 250 for 1 unit each way. That must be it.
Yep, that's it for me.
All right, just the 2. Adam, I'm guessing you're going to double up on Behemoth.
Yes, I am. I have a big opinion of this horse. If we remember back to one of our early podcasts, we had the banter race was the Goodwood, and you had a good win, Blake, with trekking. I was actually on Behemoth that day, and the run was massive.
Ran 4th or something, wasn't it?
He ran 4th. He was a clear turning for home, had to come wide, and then just flew home. And he went straight past Santa Ana Lane and beat him easily home. So, I just think he's too good over this trip for these horses. First up last prep, because they are going to have a soft track there on the weekend. He ran a good second to Jungle Edge, first up last prep before that Goodwood run. He's got a good gait. He should be midfield and, ready to get over the top of them. So
ready
I'll just have 1 unit to win.
Do you reckon they have gone here instead of Caulfield just because it might be leaders biased?
Yeah, I'd say so, mate. And probably just want to, keep him at home because they are actually aiming this horse towards longer distances towards in the spring. So I think they've got a nomination in for the Cox Plate. So that's obviously where they're looking. I reckon this horse will be a Toorak, St. Rupert Clark type of horse. That's where they'll get to at a bit later on during the spring.
Yeah, keep him to the mile. All right, so that's for 1 unit. The win for the double get on for the boys on Behemoth. Anything else, mate?
That's all for me, mate, around the grounds.
That's it for you. I've got nothing. I had a couple there, but chose to stay conservative this week. Okay, boys, that's it from you guys. All right, so for those guys and girls out there with their pad and pen, we've got Adam at Mystic Journey in the Group 2 PB Lawrence stake at $4.40. Then he's at Randwick Race 1 All Saints Eve for $2.50 for 2 units. And then there's a double get on with Behemoth in Morpheville Race 7 at $2.80. Lee's at Caulfield, Regal Power for the 1 unit and Mystic Journey for the 1 unit. Race 3 he's on Our Campana, whatever you want to call it, at $8 and $2.40. Then race 7, Bumper Blast, $5.50 straight out. His best of the day and a double up for the boys, as mentioned, is Morpheville Behemoth, $2.80 in race 7. And then the Get Out Stakes in Perth is Devoted Star. I'm keeping it simple in the PB Lawrence with Morrissey for a tiny wager at $18. And then race 2 at Eagle Farm, Tycoon Evie for half a unit win and 1.5 units the place. And then in race 4, She's the Boss at $4.60 and $1.80 with the same units, half a unit a win and 1.5 units to place. All right, boys, that's the summary and around the grounds. Let's go to Roughie Roulette. Roughie Roulette
is a very dangerous game, not for the faint of heart. Let us begin.
All right, Roughie Roulette. The boys last week had a 5th and a 6th or something thereabouts. I don't think there was anyone out there, and I think we had some good comments out there last week, and no one got the placing. So We've got to step up again, followers and boys, and let's get into it again. Adam, start us off. What have you got for us?
I tried to look outside the box this week. I've been thinking to myself, I'm always backing things that look a bit obvious, even though they're 20-1. They look good chances, but I'm thinking this time I'm gonna pick something that's a genuine 20-1 chance that'll bring an upset and get us our first winner. And I've actually travelled to Belmont to find it. Just going off.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, we got in race 6, number 9, Route 88. For Lindsay Smith and Lucy Warwick. This is a 6-year-old mare now, but she is good on her day. She loves this trip, the 1,000 metres, and this is quite an open race. Last prep, she was ordinary, but she was mostly at Ascot last prep. She has won at Ascot in the past, but Lindsay Smith horses tend to go much better at Belmont than they do at Ascot. He's got something like a 5% strike rate at Ascot compared to 23% at Belmont, which is a massive difference, of course. So I'm going off that. And I'm just hopeful he's got this mare firing and at her best. A couple of preps back when first up, she ran a close second to My Demi over the 1,000 metres. She was ridden quiet that day and ran on quite strong, just missing. So I'm hopeful this week from that wide gate, they'll go back, settle worse in midfield with cover, and hopefully produce her best late at $26.
Yeah, she's got that wide barrier, as you said, and hopefully the speed up front, and she can finish in the money. Route 88 in Perth in race 6. Thanks, Adam. Lee, you're at Caulfield, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything at Caulfield. There's pretty small fields, and then when you go to the bigger fields, it's good races. So I'm going to venture over to Morfettville, where you can definitely find a good roughie every Saturday, I reckon. So we're going to have a throw at the stumps here and see what we can get in return. So I'm going to go with the get out again, race 9, number 10, Eminent Sun at 50-1 and $12 a place. Yeah, big odds. So hopefully we can salute, but we'll see how we go. So I don't think the 0 next to his name was much of an indication of how he's going. He had absolutely no chance in resumption when held up basically the whole straight. He has some pretty good form last prep as soon as he switched trainers, so I'm hoping he can continue to improve. He's fourth to Shimino, third up last prep. Reads really well as Shimino has beaten Ghana before, which I think is a lot better form than what's this, a benchmark 60 or 58 or something like that.
58, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that reads really well. He was second up. He's 1 second up in the soft and should get a sweet run on the speed from the draw. So I'm just saying, or just thinking that he can turn that 0 into a 1 next to it, and 50-1. I'm going to have a little play there.
Yeah, it's a huge field, isn't it? And it's pretty salty on the punters out there for a last leg of a quaddie, 1,100 metre benchmark 58 with 16 horses in it. So very filthy on the punters. But there's a horse in that called Chucky that had a big break, and got a little bit of an opinion on it, but it's got the apprentice on this week, and I don't think it's massively suited, but would like to see it run well. But I'd love to see Eminent Sun run better at $51 and $14. Lee has been at Adelaide. That's always interesting. So You must have been studying hard, mate.
Yeah, I was looking for a long time and stumbled upon that. But yeah, let's go.
Fair enough. Let's go for the boys. I am in Eagle Farm. I'm at race 8. Happy Go Plucky at $21 and $5.50. I'm a little bit perplexed about Cormac jumping off it to ride the $8 Top Prospect, who backs up after being short in stride last start. And the trainer is also determined to lead. And it's got to get across from that wide gate with inside speed. So I think if you think about that, and there's a bit of tempo inside, they might actually, like the speed map doesn't show it to be super quick, but there might be some genuine tempo here, albeit over a longer distance. Happy Go Plucky hasn't won in over a year. However, runs this prep have been good without threatening, albeit short of his best distance. First up in the heavy, lost a plate, beaten 2.4 lengths that day. And then second up, got too far back over 1,400 metres at Eagle Farm, but kept coming to finish well the widest. Step up to mile here will suit, and down in the weights in an open race, worth a throw at the stumps at $21 and $5.50. All right, boys, that's it for us with Roughie Roulette. I suppose we better get into lay of the day this week. Is that all right, Lee?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Good on you
go.
for
Let's
remembering,
go.
mate.
Yeah, good on me. Lay of the day, boys.
What? Did we just...
Start a new segment.
Yup. You want to go...
Lay some favourites in the podcast.
Yup.
All right, lay of the day. As usual, Adam, start us off. You've got something very short this week, apparently.
Yeah, boys. Well, I'm not on this podcast to make love to spiders, so I'm going hard this week. and
Gee whiz.
My lay is the shortest price. I'm guaranteeing this is the shortest price lay this weekend after copping a bit of flack the last couple of weeks. We got race 3, number 7, Masked Crusader. I'm taking him on. $1.55 is way too short in my opinion. This is a very promising horse, don't get me wrong, and I think he'll be racing in much better grade than this, but I just can't take that price first up on a heavy track. He has only raced, the worst he's ever raced on is a soft 5, which was his last run before a spell, which was a very impressive win. But yeah, heavy track first up. His sire, Toronado, is a great sire, but they tend to go better on top of the ground. So yeah, I'm going to take him on. Hopefully horses like Vada or someone like that out in front can kick away and hold him out and get me a good result.
That would be a big stitch up, Adzi, but excellent for your back pocket if that goes under. Lee, any thoughts, mate?
No worries. Good on you, Adzi. If you want to do that, mate, then you can no doubt make that mistake, but that's all right anyway.
The hero call.
See how we go. I'm confident.
I trust your
All right,
opinion, Adzi, mate. Yeah, you're the Sydney expert, mate. I'll just worry about my Caulfield.
Yeah, stay out of
That's
it.
it, mate.
All right, Lee, what have you got then, mate?
I'm not going in Caulfield for the same reason why I couldn't find a roughie there. Small fields, and then when you get up to it, there's some really good races on the weekend. So I've decided to venture over to Belmont for my lay. It's going to be right at the end of the day, so we're going to go in race 8. Number 12, Cliffs of Comfort at $3.20. I think he's a really good horse, but this just doesn't look the most ideal race for him. He was beaten by Silken Eyes last time out and gets a weight swing. However, I feel like horses like Silken Eyes and then a few others, Jericho Missile, Danny George, Bell My Pago and Double Bubble, if it's wet, can definitely knock him off in this, especially the first two mentioned. There's a fair bit of speed on in this, and that doesn't suit Cliffs of Comfort, who likes to be up on speed and dictating. And the fact he's up in grade in this might bring him undone the last 100 metres or so. Just banking a few horses, run them along and set it up for the swoopers. I think Jericho Missile is a really big danger with the right ride from the apprentice, stepping back from an eye-catching second and an open handicap behind Floyd. So let's lay Cliffs of Comfort.
Laying Cliffs of Comfort in race 8 in Perth at $3.20. Thanks very much, mate. For me, I found it really difficult this week compared to previous weeks. I think a lot of these favourites have obviously got a chance. I couldn't find a lot of chinks. I've gone against race 1, so straight out the favourite Dashing Special at $3.60. He's been up a while, this bloke, and he may have just hit the wall last start. His winning strike rate isn't ideal either and gets the top weight of 58 kilos. In saying that, though, he should sit closer in this and give us sight. A little worried with him that Frad has jumped off him to ride Brando, who obviously had issues last start, but previous run midweek was excellent. And there's also some handy milers stepping up down in the weights, including a horse like Spirit, who Maloney, as we talked about earlier in the podcast, is uncharacteristically riding early in the meet. I'm sort of praying this thing loses because, yeah, as I said, I'm not super confident this week at Eagle Farm. But I'm going to lay Dashing Special in race 1 to start us off at $3.60. All right, boys. I think I'm the longest price. Yeah, I am. So we've turned the tables.
Do better next week, mate.
We'll do better.
Make sure you do better next week.
All right. Well, as long as yours loses, mate, then we'll see how we go. All right, boys. Good chat. Thanks for coming on this week as a bit of a wrap up. As usual, guys, DM us. We're trying to do a lot more on the socials. You'll probably see some new graphics come up over the next few weeks coming into the Spring Carnival and obviously give us a shout if you have a good win, and let us know how we can serve you better. And get on www.justwins.com.au for all your needs, or DM the page for anything else. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries. And Lee, thanks again.
No worries. Been a pleasure, boys.
As usual, it's been a pleasure from me, and good luck punters out there. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and get involved in the comments. Best of luck and happy punting.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying. Yes, there's history.
But a champion becomes a legend. McConey has won it. The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.